Welcome to the JISEC Global 2025 Cybersecurity Podcast Series. I'm your host, Fatima Buenaventura, and today we're joined by an inspirational woman in cybersecurity. Priyanka Chatterjee, the dynamic co-founder of Women in Cybersecurity Middle East, a global cybersecurity leader, entrepreneur, and champion for bridging the talent gap in the industry. From advising top organizations and navigating cyber threats to being recognized as one of the global game changers of 2024, Priyanka's journey is as inspiring as it is impactful. So get ready to dive into a conversation that's equal parts insightful and empowering. Welcome, Priyanka. This is a very exciting conversation that I'm about to have with you, and I'm looking forward to this episode.
Thank you so much, Fatma, for having me, and I'm equally excited, and thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. So I want to know, in regards to the importance of gender diversity and inclusion in cybersecurity leadership, what are the biggest misconceptions you've encountered about women in cybersecurity leadership? And how can the industry move beyond taken representation to true inclusion?
Oh, well, you decided to go with a big one, huh? All right. So I can only speak from my experience, right? So if we think about I don't know if misconception is the right word, but I would say this is more of a perception, perhaps, right? And there's an element of a little bit of the journey around how women have grown into just starting to work to how now we are kind of in the boardrooms and leading organizations. So there's a bit of that journey, and then there's a bit of over diversity as well. So I think between that, the whole angle of perception tends to become misconception. Okay, now talking of perception, right now, there's always a human angle, and then there are some factual angles. If I talk about the human and the emotional angles of it, as much as we all want to see our personal lives and professional lives separately, but we all as human beings will always bring our own individual upbringing, what we have learned as we grew through our childhood, our own biases, then we have created our own contextual perceptions, right? So that's a bit. So there's a little bit of that, and women are generally, I would not want to use the word considered, because we are more emotional as compared to our male gender, which is our strength and also the weakness. So that is definitely one of the subconscious or unconscious biases that come into play. I have seen that, if we put her in charge, will she be able to handle the pressure? Will she be able to handle the stress?
Yeah.
Right? Because we all know that leading organizations, whether they are governmental or commercial in nature, it comes with its own pressures. You have to be able to be present. You have to be able to do all that stuff. And plus we have, as we grow in our own personal lives, we have got our family responsibilities as well. So a lot of women are mothers.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it should be, as always, one of our priorities. So that is always, I think, when it comes down to the leadership roles, that is one of the biggest challenges. And it's not just for male, it is one of the factors where females stop themselves as well. It's like, oh my God, how am I going to balance all of the different things? Like, because raising a child, or taking care of a family is a pressureful of job. And then when you are leading an organization, that's an equal amount of pressure. So how do they perceive male and female cyber professionals in terms of their skill sets? And what caught my attention is, and this is where the perception and misconception stands, right?
Yeah.
Is that when we talk about technical skills, the perception is that our male colleagues do better. Whereas when it comes down to things like collaboration, communication, leadership, the things that require more soft skills, and in fact, for things which are under pressure, females were doing much better. So when you look at that survey, you can see that there's almost kind of like a complementary fit of the puzzle that's coming up. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of Pokemon toys and plushies and everything. And
I grew up with those.
Well, so I always see this as like you have those Pokemon balls and you've got one part here and one part there. So it's almost like when the two parts come together, it clicks. And as I was reading through that survey results, I'm like, okay, so this is how it clicks. So maybe we need to turn the conversation saying, okay, we are all competing, male versus female, and talking about, oh, we want everyone everywhere. Rather say, okay, let's play to our strengths. And that's kind of where I started kind of connecting the whole emotional bit with factual. And that changed how I see things and how I am now trying to build my teams and kind of trying to coach my mentors. So I think that's kind of where misconception. What we can do is, one, I would say everyone should read about that. Now I'm trying to work with OAS to see how we can bring that survey into the Middle East and see what the perceptions and if you like the second things we can do with that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, if we should be able to launch the survey this year in the Middle East. And I hope that by 2026, we'll have a lot more factual visibility into what the public is thinking, what's the right way of driving diversity, because I don't want to drive diversity or even talk about diversity just because I want it to be backed up by talent. If I am not qualified to be a leader, I should not be a leader. It's as simple as that, right? So that's kind of my 2 cents here.
That's great. And it's interesting to know because there's always been this doubt, the talent of women, that we are soft, we might not be able to handle pressure. And it's a very important point. Women has evolved to be a hustler, and we have evolved to exactly know where to focus, how to allocate time and manage our time as well as our emotions, where we need to put emotions or where we have to put them aside. But that's a very interesting point, and I'm looking forward to that survey.